me today to let me know that he has decided to become a vegetarian. Kristen, oh really? That's great. Joe, yeah, he told me he has finally seen the light. Kristen, well, what helped him arrive at that decision? Joe, well, I mean his girlfriend has been a vegetarian for about a year now, and I'm sure she probably played a major role.
Okay.
Kristen, yeah. Yes.
That's good. All right, yeah, we see here, if it's hey, comma, Peter, that's very different than hey, Peter, comma, yes?
Yeah.
At the start. Yeah, he's not talking to Peter, he's talking about Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Good. What does decided mean?
He decided to be a vegetarian. He
Yeah.
doesn't. He decided to eat only vegetables, not meat.
Good, yeah. Decided means choose. Or chose, past tense.
Chose, yes.
Yeah, good. So then Joe says, he told me he's finally seen the light.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this means?
I think Kristen, Peter, pardon. Peter Peter now thinks eating vegetables only, not meat, is a good thing. So he he now this he thinks that he do something good, uh, and he see the light and of how to difficult to speak in
Yeah,
English.
suddenly bulb light.
What did you say,
Yes,
Sina?
when he eats meat, he is in the dark, and now he eats vegetables, he is in the light.
Yes. In
Yes,
Turkish,
Perfect.
we
a
say
bulb is start to give light outside, like that.
Exactly, yeah. It's like,
like in Turkish we say this suddenly bulb light.
Yes.
okay, good, yeah. We say he had a revelation. You can say this. Like a major moral change in how he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
A major change in how he thinks, a revelation. So we say, seen the light. And many of these expressions in English and most languages from Europe are coming from the Bible and the old books. And I think this one is about um, like seeing God or realizing an understanding of God. It comes from a story in the Bible. But yeah, you're right. Before he was in the darkness, now he's in the light. Exactly. And Nihan, what does this mean? Helped him arrive at that decision. Arrive at.
Um, Peter has an influence of his girlfriend because his girlfriend is a vegetarian. So he has an influence from her, and he decided to be a vegetarian, and he arrived at that decision. He decided,
Good.
arrived at decide something.
When do we normally use the word arrive?
Arrive, enter a place.
Enter a place. Yeah, and
Come,
we
come
use
to
it
a place. Come to a place.
exactly. Yeah. When you're moving, like in a bus, in a train, an airplane, you arrive somewhere. So arrive has this idea of a journey, traveling. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So usually if you say arrive at a decision, what it implies is that it's something you've been thinking about for a while. He's been
Mm-hmm.
thinking about being a vegetarian, maybe yes, maybe no, and then he decided. So there's a trip, a journey to get there.
Yeah.
That's the difference when we use this.
Mm-hmm.
The decision, of course, is something you decided. Okay. Now, at the end it says, played a major role. Do you know
Played
when,
hmm.
what does this mean, role? R-O-L-E.
Role, it is the same word in Turkish, role. Uh,
Okay.
Role. Actresses play in movies and
Perfect.
pretend.
Good.
Another meaning is pretend to be something in movies, and this main in this paragraph it has a different meaning. Role, a main part.
Good.
Neden?
Yeah, exactly.
Function.
Function, yes.
Function. Perfect. Good. Good. And you're absolutely right. This expression is from theater or movies, playing a major role. Major, of course, means very important. Major is also a position in the military. A major or a colonel. But yeah, very important part. So she was a very important part of him making this decision. The things she said to him is her influence. So she influenced him to make a decision. Influence is not in here. It can mean either she's trying to talk to him and tell him to do that, or he looks at what she does and wants to do the same. It doesn't mean she tried to make him do it. It means he's doing it because of the things she's doing.
Yes.
Whether she wants that or not. Okay. Sinan, can you read next?
Yeah. Kristen, yeah, that makes sense, Joe. He told me that he wanted to speak with me about it because I was an authority on the subject. Kristen, well, you pretty much are. You have been on one for many years now. Joe, yeah, but as a rule, usually don't bring up the topic of vegetarianism with people I meet. Kristen, yeah, I don't like to either, actually.
Great. Okay. First of all, what does this mean? That makes sense.
That makes sense. I understand.
Good. Yeah, it means that is logical. That is understandable. Yeah, but you're right. When you say that, you're saying, I understand. Exactly. The actual meaning, though, is what you've said is logical or understandable. That's something everybody should understand. Good. She wanted me to speak about it because I was an authority. What does that mean, authority?
Authority means expert on this issue.
Expat?
Yes,
What is an expat?
or maybe
Oh, expert. Expert.
expert.
Perfect, yeah.
Expert.
Okay. Yes, expert is someone who knows a lot about it, who you
Yeah.
talk to for information. Expat, with P-A-T, that is a word that means expatriate. It's someone who is living in a country they weren't born in. So right now I am an expat. All the foreigners living in Turkey are expats. Yeah, but expert is the exact right word for here. Good. An authority on the subject. Sinan, what else does authority mean?
Authority means authority is like a discipline
Discipline.
or manage it hardly.
Perfect. Yeah, authority is the person who is in charge, the person who makes the rules, who has the forces discipline on other people. You're right. Good. At a school, the principal is the authority. In the city, police are the... You can call police the authorities instead of saying police. That means the same because they have authority. Good. What does this mean for many years now?
For many years. Christians say that Joe was an authority for many years.
Authority for many years. Yeah, for a long time.
Yes.
I think what she actually means is he's been a vegetarian for many years.
Also vegetarian.
You are an authority because you've been a vegetarian for many years. The subject. Okay, I was an authority on the subject. Yes? The subject is being a vegetarian. So he's an authority on the subject of being a vegetarian because he's been a vegetarian for many years.
Yes, if I say this, Joe is vegetarian as well. Is it right? Usage of as well.
As well, that's perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Great. Good. I know this was a complicated sentence I made. Joe is an authority on the subject of being a vegetarian because he has been a vegetarian for many years. But I think we understand that. All right, Sinan, what does this mean as a rule?
As a rule, in general.
In general, yeah, that's good. It means it's my rule, right? Kind of. What is a rule?
Rule means a way for doing something in a way.
This is a hard word to define, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a weak law, like a law for a school or something.
Law.
Yeah. Good. So it's my rule for myself that I don't talk about this. Generally. You're right. Good. And what does it mean, bring up the topic? What does it mean if you bring something up?
Joe means this. He doesn't talk about the vegetarianism in general.
Good. Is there a difference between bring up and talk about?
Bring up. What's the difference?
Does anyone know? Nope.
Bring up. Bring up.
Bring up. Bring up. Yes, perfect. Bring up means bring up. No, the difference is if you bring up a topic, you are the one who starts people talking about it. So if we're all talking about sports, and then I say, oh, it's very rainy today, I bring up the topic of weather. I start us talking about that. So you can talk about something without bringing it up. It means someone else started that conversation. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the first one to talk about it. Bring up is what's called a phrasal verb. You put two words together and it makes a new verb. There's one more use of bring up. I can say, oh, this is Bill. I brought him up. Does anyone know what that means, to bring up a person?
Make him adopt. Bring up.
Adopt? Ah, you're right, yes. Bring up means to raise. So I'm the one who is the parent or acts as the parent since the time they're small. Exactly. So your parents are the ones who brought you up. But if you adopt someone, you're the one who brings that person up. It means the same as the word raise. Okay. Lastly, here we say the topic of vegetarianism. And I know we were talking about this a couple times now, that ism means it's a way of thinking. Good. So we're just looking and seeing that again. All right, Metin,
Yeah.
you ready?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. I don't like to either actually. Yeah, the way I figure it, if the person's already a vegetarian, then it's pretty much preaching to choir. What's choir? Choir.
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 Um, they probably already know a lot of the facts that I will tell them, and we probably share some of the same reasons for as to why we actually became a vegetarian anyway. Right. And if it is a person who is not a vegetarian and they are not interested, it pretty much it just goes in one ear and out the other. I mean, if they are not interested in hearing about it, they are not gonna retain anything I am telling them.
Good. Okay. Right back at the top, Joe says, yeah, the way I figure it. What does this mean, figure it? The way I figure it.
Okay. The way I think.
Good, yeah. Really, it means the way I understand the situation. My understanding is this.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. What does figure out mean?
Figure out. Drawing the main lines of the subject. Figure out.
Yeah, figure out means solve.
So,
You solve something. So there are steps, and at the end, you get the answer. Just the same as solve. Good. So this is another phrasal verb. Good. And Metin?
The way I figure it, the way I understand, isn't it?
Yes. Perfect. The way I understand. Yeah. Maybe another person looks at this and they understand something different. Okay, Metin, what is preaching or preaching?
No, vegetarian. Then it's pretty much preaching to core. No idea.
No idea? Does anyone know preaching?
No.
No? All right. When you're at a church, the person who is talking to everybody at the front, that is the preacher or the pastor. And the verb for what he's doing is preaching. The person, the head of the church, like the leader of the church. When you go on Sunday, you listen to the pastor preaching. That's the main definition of the word, but we say preaching whenever you're telling people about ways to be morally better. So if you think that being a vegetarian is morally better, you're a better person if you're a vegetarian, then you're preaching when you tell people this. Like if I say, you should be a vegetarian, it's bad that you eat meat, these animals are dying, I'm telling you what you should do, then I'm preaching.
Okay, so it's a kind of giving advice, but I'll say using your authority or using your power of direction, so directive.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, I'm up here, I'm a vegetarian, you're down here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking down to you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, good. I talked about preaching when we had that really weird phrase, get up on my soapbox. Do you remember that one? It was a couple days ago. I'm just going to get up on my soapbox and... I did mention this word before. I think we don't remember that. That's okay.
Which
All
one?
right. It was a phrase, get up on my soapbox. It might have been from Lookout Mountain. Or maybe drunk driving. It was a couple days ago. Okay, anyways, that's not important. What is a choir? Metin, do you have any idea?
Choir. Okay. The people in the church.
What do they do in the church?
Okay. Probably they sing some mythical musics.
Exactly, yeah. Good. They're in the
Sound.
church singing. Good. We actually use the choir now in schools. In school, if you join a group where everybody is singing, like no instruments, just singing, we call that a choir too. But yeah, you're right. It's from the church. So when we put this together, preaching to the choir, what do you think that means?
That means, okay, in the church, the father is the boss, okay, or how to say, authority, and choir is the others. So they are they have less knowledge. They have less knowledge comparing the father about religion or about applications, etc. So father tells them what to do, what is good, what is bad. So it is preaching to the choir. So father or here the authority tells something to do, not to do list maybe to other listeners like that.
This is a good idea. It's actually kind of the opposite of this. See, the choir are people who already are very involved with the church. They're very strong in the church. They want to do more things with the church. So what it means is you're preaching to people who already believe what you're saying.
Okay, it's useless
activity
then. Yes. For example, I just trying to some mathematical calculations to my maths teacher, etc. Something like that.
Good. Yeah, you can say that. Usually it's about religion or philosophy or morals, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're in the story, if you're a vegetarian, and I come to you and I say, oh, you know, vegetarian is so great because people are so mean to animals, and, you know, we shouldn't be hurting these animals. They have such bad lives. Metin, don't you understand about the animals? But you already know this. I'm wasting my time telling it to you.
Oh.
Yeah. It's usually about, not about information, but about the way you're thinking.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
morals and philosophy. These things. Maybe politics. You can say it with politics, too. Okay. They probably already know a lot of facts. What are facts, Metin?
Um, where is it?
Joe says they probably know a lot of the facts.
Facts. They probably already know a lot of the facts that I would tell. The facts about vegetarianism.
Good. Yeah, facts means things that are definitely true.
Okay.
2 plus 2 is 4. That's a fact.
Uh-huh.
If I say blue is better than green, that's not a fact. Yeah. Same reasons. Became a vegetarian anyway. Okay, I think the rest of that is fine. If a person who's not a vegetarian, I'm not interested, it pretty much goes in one ear and out the other. Okay, let's jump down to there. In one ear and out the other.
He or she will not listen to you carefully. Your words will come in through one ear and goes out other ear. So
Perfect. Yeah.
bypass.
It doesn't stay in here.
Mhm.
Yeah. They don't think about it. They don't remember. Exactly. And good. Last one. Hearing about it, they're not going to retain anything. What does retain mean?
Retain. To keep.
Keep. Good. Do you know when we use retain?
Here, it means learn or understand, something like that.
Yeah, retain is usually about, like, this is retaining information. Usually it's about water, like holding water. Yeah. You don't use retain like I'm keeping my cell phone, I'm retaining my cell phone. It's something more fluid, like water.
So it's a terminology in dam technology, something.
Yeah, like you use a dam to retain water, hold it
Oh,
back.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right. Nihan, can you read next?
Yes. Yes. Right, and for me, I just don't like to feel like I'm preaching to someone. I'm preaching to someone either, 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 either,
Either. Yeah.
either, you know. Joe, yeah, I think that's really a good point actually. But yeah, he was starting to, ask me a whole bunch of questions about vegetarianism. Kristen, like what, Joe? Well, he wanted to know how I actually become a vegetarian. Kristen, well, what did you tell him, Joe? Well, I actually began to think back to when I was in the college. I first started to learn about vegetarian by word of mouth. I had some friends who were vegetarians, and that they would always tell me why they became a vegetarian. And they also they had also tried and convinced me to stop eating meat, which at that time I just, wasn't interested in at all.
Great. This they apostrophe D, that's they would.
They would. Okay.
Good. So at the top of the page, Joe says, I think that's a really good point, actually. What does he mean, good point?
Preaching to someone.
A good point?
It's a good point. It's an important topic to talk about.
Great, yeah. A good point or a good reason.
Reason, yes.
A good argument, exactly. What does point mean?
Point, thought,
A thought? What else?
and point, topic,
Anything else?
point, point out, point.
Point with your finger. Yeah.
Yes. Point.
And mountain.
Idea.
An idea, yeah. We say mountains are pointy. Yeah, if something has like a sharp top, that can be the point. The point of a needle.
Needle.
A needle. When you put medicine or, I don't know, drugs.
Okay.
That's a needle, yeah. Or when you're sewing, you use a needle. The metal thing when you're sewing, that's a needle. Yeah. Also, point is another way to say a dot, like a period. At the end of the sentence, there's a point. So it means a lot of things. Okay. And Nihan, what does this mean? A whole bunch. Ask me a whole bunch.
Whole bunch of questions about a whole bunch of about everything. He starts to ask about everything from different topics about vegetarianism.
Good, yeah. A whole bunch, it just means a lot.
A lot, yes.
Yeah. It's kind of a strange combination of words. A bunch is like a group. When you get 7 or 8 bananas together, that's a bunch of bananas.
Bunch of bananas, yes.
Yeah. You wanted to know how I became a vegetarian? Okay. Okay, let's jump down a little ways. He says, I first started to learn about vegetarian by word of mouth. So
he started to learn vegetarian from someone's sayings, tellings.
yeah, from people speaking. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's not on the emails or on the internet, it's speaking.
Or
And then-
writing things, only speaking. Yes.
Yeah, it usually means speaking. Like we're going to promote our company by word of mouth. That means, like I used to actually work building different things, fixing houses, and when you work for one person, they're happy, so they tell their friends. So all my advertising was word of mouth, people talking to each other. This sentence is wrong. It says, I first started to learn about vegetarian by word of mouth. Vegetarian is a person, a vegetarian. So it should say about vegetarianism or about being a vegetarian. The way it's written here, it means like about one person. Good. And just jump down a little bit more, Nihan. They'd also try and convince me. What does convince mean?
Persuade.
Persuade, awesome. Perfect, good. Wasn't interested in at all. Okay, good. Sinan?
Yes.
Can you read next, please?
Kristen, Joe, but you know, as I got older, I became more curious. And I started to actually read some literature on my own. And it was probably at that point that I began to weigh pros and cons of meat eating. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to go vegetarian. I mean, tasting. Yeah, yeah, there are, Joe. You know, there are environmental reasons, and there are also health reasons, obviously. I mean, it reduces the risk of heart problems and high blood pressure and tasting right.
Great. Okay. At the start here, Joe says, as I got older. I think this is kind of funny because we always are getting older. That it means nothing, right? It just means a little ways in the future. That's all. I became more curious. So, Sinan, what does curious mean?
Curious, interested, uh, uh, partly want to know something.
Ah, you want to know things. Yeah, you're looking for answers. The one, there are different things, different animals we describe with different characteristics. Like if you eat lots of food, you eat like a pig. Pig is the animal for that. If a man is really bad with women, it's usually a dog. For curious, it is a cat. We describe cats as being the curious animals. They always want to see how everything works. Okay, and oh, blind. If you can't see, they say blind as a bat, if you see very poorly. There's different animals for each characteristic like this. For curious, it's cats. So, Sinan, what does literature mean? I started to read some literature.
Literature means the art of writing.
Writing. Good. Yeah, it just means written things, usually
Yeah.
books. Good. So what does this mean on my own? Read some literature on my own.
On my own. Uh, uh, from my side.
Good. Yeah. It means he's not asking people questions, he's finding information by himself. Good. All right, now we go down. I probably began to weigh the pros and cons. What is weigh?
Wait, I think uh, it's mess, isn't it? No,
Ah,
wait,
Hmm.
like mess.
good. Yeah, you're right. Everybody says your weight is kilograms or pounds.
Mm.
I weigh, I don't know, 70 kilograms or whatever the number is. That's weight. Actually, what weight means in physics is mass times gravitational field. So the unit should be newtons. For anyone who knows physics here. Your mass is kilograms, your weight is newtons. But when people are speaking, weight is in kilograms. So it's actually mass.
Yes.
Good. And weigh, what does weigh mean as a verb? Because this doesn't have a T on the end. If it was WEIGHT, that would be weight. How much you
No.
are in kilograms.
No.
Yeah. Here, without a T, it's a verb, weigh. So what does that mean, Sinan?
Try to weigh the pros and cons means comparing some things positive and negative sides.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what it means. Okay, so which is positive? Pros or cons?
Pros,
Pros, yeah. The pros
positive.
are the good things, the cons are the bad things. But what does weigh mean?
they, I think, measuring the weight.
Perfect. Yeah, measuring the weight. So here they're measuring which one is heavier on the scales.
Yeah.
Good. I was going to say, oh yeah, cons. C-O-N-S, cons.
Cons.
Cons,
Sometimes,
yes. Sorry.
sometimes cons can mean something else.
Hmm.
If you say someone is a con, it means a convict. They've been arrested for a crime. They went to prison. So con can also be short for convict. There's actually a movie called Con Air, a bunch of criminals on an airplane. Okay.
Also, what thing we put in telephone, general telephone for talking with telephone, isn't it? A metal coin. Ah, no, coin. Coin.
Coin, yes.
Coin. It's
Good. All right, and Sinan, what does this mean to go vegetarian?
being vegetarian.
There's a small difference.
Hmm.
Does anyone know?
Become.
Yeah. Go vegetarian means become vegetarian. Great. All right. Joe says there are environmental reasons, health reasons, obviously. Sinan's favorite word, obviously. What is an environmental reason of becoming a vegetarian?
Environmental reasons, maybe eating meat cause of the carbon, the more carbon dioxide producing.
Perfect, yes. That's it. Yeah, the cows produce carbon dioxide and methane.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, cows produce a lot of methane. It's a major factor in climate change, they think.
But eating meat is worth this.
If you eat meat, then we need to farm cows, and cows produce methane, so it hurts the environment.
But it is good to eat meat.
Yes, it's tasty.
Yeah.
So that's one of the pros. It's very tasty. The cons, it's bad for the environment. Also, if you're eating plants, they're making more oxygen, right?
Very good.
That's a good thing, maybe. Okay, health reasons, I think, is obvious. And what does this mean, the risk? It reduces the risk of heart problems and high blood pressure.
Heart problems and high blood pressure means when you eat more so much meat, some oil or some oil or maybe triglyceride level is increased on the in the blood. So it's a bad thing for our heart and also bad thing for our blood pressure. So I have
Good. Yeah, but what does the risk mean? R-I-S-K. What is this word?
risk in this sentence. Risk is it cause some heart disease. This is a risk.
What is risk mean here?
Yes.
Nihan, do you know?
Probability.
Yes. Good. Reduces the probability. It doesn't mean it will cause it. It doesn't mean it won't cause it. It's the chance. And what does risky mean?
Risky.
Heavy risk.
Sorry?
Risky.
Nihan, do you know risky?
Insists a lot of probabilities, bad probabilities.
Yeah, it means dangerous.
Adjective form of risk.
Yeah, if something's risky, it's dangerous.
Yes.
Or there's a good chance it will be bad. Yeah. Okay. Metin and Zoro's turn.
Right. As you know, high blood pressure runs in my family. So I've always needed to be careful about that. Right. Another thing for me that really struck a chord was that I just didn't think it was a practical approach to solving the issue of world hunger. I mean, the land that's being used to raise these animals could be put to so much better use if it was, growing crops like, rice or wheat or soybean, wheat, okay,
Yeah.
wheat or soybeans or just some other vegetables.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we'll stop here for now. Okay. As you know, high blood pressure runs in my family.
It's a genetical heritage from ancestors.
Perfect. Yeah. Many people in your family have the genes that are causing this. Exactly. What is something that tends to run in families?
Can you repeat, please?
What is one thing, like they're saying high blood pressure runs in his family.
Mhm.
What often runs in families? What is often a genetic problem?
What is often? Do you want to ask the types of these genetic problems?
Yes, can you name one?
Diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah. I think
Diabetes.
that's the major one. Yeah. Good. And then Joe says another thing that really struck a chord. Do you know what a chord is? With an H?
Chord is, how to say, a string, a rod, but flexible rod.
Good. That's C-O-R-D. Here we have C-H-O-R-D.
Okay.
We still say cord, but it's not a rope.
Oh, I have no idea at that moment.
Does anyone know? Nihan?
Struck. Another thing. To should be explained. Should we talk about, maybe?
1 second. A chord is from music.
Okay. A chord.
Chord.
When you play all of them together, that's a chord. Yeah, it's the notes that go together nicely form one chord. You can do it on the piano too. Maybe you play 3 or 4 at the same time. This is a music term. And strike, we can say that for a guitar. You're hitting the strings. Strike a chord. So, Metin, do you know what struck a chord might mean? Something struck a chord, or struck a chord with me, we often say.
Here, striking a chord, striking a chord, finding the roots of the problem, or finding a good explanation, something like that.
Yeah, like when something strikes a chord, I think we said this earlier, it resonates with you.
Okay.
It's something you really are understanding. It makes you think about it a lot. Something that affected you when you heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, something that maybe it made you think about it a lot, and you agree with it. Okay. Metin, what is practical? I just didn't think it was a practical approach.
Practical approach. Okay. Practical, okay.
Şöyle hani soğudu, şunu değiştirsene.
Practical approach. Okay. Here, practical is easy to apply, easy to apply. Yes, something like that.
Perfect. Yeah, easy to apply, and it will give good results. Effective. Yeah.
Effective.
Easy and effective. Like a good. And what does approach mean?
Approach, the way of solving, trying to do something like that.
Perfect. Yes. Method.
Method, yes.
What does it mean if you approach a person?
You reduce your distance between them.
Okay, good. Yeah. Or move towards. Yeah.
Yes, move towards.
Good. And what do they mean by world hunger?
World hunger, the hunger problem in the world.
Good. Yeah, the fact that some people are hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Being used to. Okay, here we say.
Can I ask a question? Strike is the first one of the verb of struck. Strike, struck, struck. Struck is the past form of strike.
I've strucken. I've struck. Yeah.
Strike.
The
strike.
verb 3 is still I have struck.
Struck. Yes. Strike. Strike.
Struck.
Struck. Okay.
Strike, struck, struck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And strike normally means hit. Like you strike a person, that's like you punch the person, you hit them.
Okay.
Yeah. World hunger, perfect. I mean the land that's being used to raise these animals. Like we were talking about, bring up someone, raise.
Grow up.
Yeah, make them grow up and help them. Could be put to so much better use. What does this mean, put to better use?
Be put to so much. Okay. Put to so much better. it's better, simply.
Yeah,
Yes.
it means it could be used
Okay.
better.
Used better. Better used better. Okay, we have some lands, and I'll say we have some lands. We have to decide what we do with this land. Do we have to? Okay, will we grow some vegetables, crops, etc., or will we raise animals? So the better one is growing vegetables, growing crops, etc.
Good. Yeah, exactly. I just want to, it can be used better or used more efficiently. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Good. What are crops?
Crops is okay. How to say? A yearly plant. When you grain this plants, so you can produce some bread, etc. You know.
Good. And what is bread made from?
Wheat.
Wheat.
Wheat. Okay.
Wheat. Yeah. Yeah. Ignore the H. It's just wheat.
Wheat. Okay.
Wheat. Good. Perfect. All right. Usually we don't use crops for fruit, but most things are crops. Rice, wheat, soybeans here. They even say crops for tobacco. Usually tobacco, coffee, and chocolate. If you grow cocoa beans, these are called cash crops. They're very profitable crops. Yeah, cash crops means crops that are very profitable. Okay, Nihan, can you read next?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Kristen, now that's a particular aspect of the whole idea of going vegetarian that I had never even thought of before. Joe, yeah, you know, that one is important to me, but I think just as important to me was the fact that I felt that it was really inhuman to the animals. I had read Joe, some literature that talked about how these animals are treated and all the chemicals that they get injected with, and you know that for me was just a real turn off. Kristen, yeah, for me as well. Joe, yeah. So when did you first become a vegetarian? I mean, what led you to do it? To it? What led
Great.
you to it? Yes.
Led you to it. Good. Okay. At the top, Kristen says that's a particular aspect. Any idea what she means here?
An important side of the topic.
Good. An important point.
Point,
Like we
yes.
talked about point. Yeah. Particular means like specific. You use the word the if you're talking about a specific item, a particular item, and you're using a or an if it could be any item. So it means specific. The whole idea of going vegetarian, I'd never even thought of before. All right, jump down a bit. But I think just as important to me was the fact that it was really, this word is inhumane.
Inhumane. Humane.
Yeah, we have that E on the end. Yeah, inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea what that means?
Inhumane? That doesn't fit to humanity. Humanity.
Isn't fitting of humanity.
Treats doesn't fit humanity.
Good. What is something that's inhumane?
What?
What is an example of something that is inhumane?
Humane. Host an animal, maybe. Host
Hurting
an
animals?
herding animal, yes, from the street, maybe. It's a
Good. Yeah,
good treat.
inhumane.
Inhumane, yes.
Inhumane is like cruel.
Cruel.
It's the same as cruel, being hurtful or harmful or cruel. But you're right. Yeah, I think the origin is unfitting of humans.
Yes.
Good. What is the opposite? Humane. What does that mean?
Humane.
Yeah.
Mm. Cruel. Humane. Helpful.
Yes.
Maybe.
Kind, helpful,
Kind,
charitable.
helpful. Yes.
Good. Yeah. There is a charity that helps people called the Humane Society. They help people who are in trouble. Yeah. Okay. Now, Joe says literature that talked about how these animals are treated. What does that mean? How they are treated. Are treated.
You can treat an animal humanely, and inhumanely. That's it.
Good.
That's your
Yeah.
choice. You can you can do nothing. I can't explain. Yes, treat. If you host an animal in your house, from you can take a cat from street, and you can give some food and some water to him, and you can bring the cat up, maybe street cat. It's a treat of humane
Good.
treat.
Good. Good.
Yes.
This is good. All right. And now, down a bit, he says chemicals that they get injected with. Do you know the word injected?
Injected. With injection şey. Neydi o ya? Şey.
Vaccine.
What did you say?
Injection. Give some chemical
Yeah.
drug into your blood from your skin with a
Good.
equipment.
With the shay. Yeah, that shay is called needle. We were talking about that earlier.
Needle. Yes, I tried to look at it up, but I can't find it. Needle. Yes.
Good, yeah. So it came back again. You give injections with a needle.
Yes.
Good. And Joe says, for me, that was a real turnoff. What does that mean?
She loves eating meat, maybe. He loved eating meat, maybe in the past, and he had a real turn off, and he stopped eating meat, and he became a vegetarian.
Good.
Spinning.
A turnoff is kind of something that makes you disgusted or makes you not want to do something. Yeah. Like, he was kind of disgusted with eating meat when he hears about how they're doing these things to the animals. It just makes him not even want to do it. Because he is so disgusted by these people doing this. So an opposite of turn off is turn on. It was a turn on. Now it's very okay to use turn off in situations like this, but if you use turn on, you need to be careful because that can be a sexual term, usually. When you're talking about people you're attracted to, you say turn offs and turn ons, things you like and don't like about people. But we can use turn off in situations like this, anything that disgusts you. But you wouldn't say something is a turn on for vegetarianism because that sounds sexual when you say that. Okay. And Kristen, yeah, for me as well. And then Joe says, I mean, what led you to it? Okay, what is this word led? What is the present tense of led?
Lead.
Lead. Good. So what does Joe mean? What led you to it?
Let turn you to this idea, becoming a vegetarian idea.
Excellent. Yeah,
Yes.
what information pushed you in that direction? Like you're
Yes.
following it. Exactly. Great. Okay, Sinan,
Yes.
can you read next?
Kristen, what led me to it? I guess it was a series of things that kind of led up to it. My uncle, for example, he's been a vegetarian as far back as I can remember. So that wasn't a new concept to my family at all. And I can remember when I was in high school, I just kind of started losing the taste for meat, particularly red meat and chicken. By the end of high school, I pretty much cut those out. Yeah, you see, for Christian. So, Joe, me, that wasn't the case. I mean, I ate everything but the kitchen sink when I was in high school.
Okay. Great. At the start, Kristen says, what led me to it? I guess it was a series of things. What is a series?
Series of things mean not only one particular things, a lot of things that one comes other one.
Good, yeah. Series are things in an order. Number
Yes.
1, number 2, number 3, like this. Yeah, there's the Fibonacci series. I think do we know Fibonacci? This is math?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
know the Fourier series.
Fourier series, great, yeah. The university level one. Fourier series are not fun.
And TV series.
TV series, exactly.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so what does led up mean? A series of things that kind of led up to.
Led up, led up to it. Push. A kind of, a kind of pushing to it.
Good, yeah. They preceded or pushed it, you're right. They came first, causing it, exactly. Okay, my uncle's a vegetarian as far back as I can remember. This is as far back in time, for as long as I can remember. So it wasn't a new concept. What does concept mean?
An idea.
Good, perfect idea. Okay, and then he says, I can remember when I was in high school, I just kind of started here, losing the taste for meat. What does that mean? Losing the taste for
That
meat.
means Christian, Christian hasn't liked the meat, testing meat.
Good, yeah, it stops tasting good to you.
Yeah.
Good. Pretty much cut those out. What does that mean?
By the end of high school, I pretty much cut those out. She doesn't eat
Anymore.
an animal or meat.
Perfect, yeah.
Stopped eat.
Good. Cut them out. Yeah, it means remove from the things she eats. You cut something out, you remove it. She doesn't eat them anymore. That's perfect. Exactly. Good. I mean, I ate everything but the kitchen sink. All right. What does that mean?
Nearly everything I ate. like me, I ate everything.
Good. Yeah. It means everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I think this expression is from packing. When someone goes somewhere, it started with, you're packing your bags. You're
Yes.
putting things in your bags to take with you.
Hmm.
They say, oh, he packed everything but the kitchen sink.
Hmm.
The only thing he left in the house was the sink in the kitchen.
Uh,
And now we just use this to mean everything in a funny way.
Sink means kitchen. Kitchen
Oh,
was. What
what
does it
does
mean?
sink mean? Does
Sink.
anyone know?
Going to deep of the water.
Yes, sink as a verb means going down in the water.
Yes.
Exactly.
Ships sink.
Yeah, something will either sink or float. If you sit on top of the water, you float. If you go down, you sink. But what is a sink as a noun? Metin?
Sink, how to say, in the kitchen or in the toilet, the water reservoir that we wash our hands or vegetables, etc. And the sink is in the middle of this reservoir, and it's a kind of drain, but
Good.
nothing for the rainwater.
Good, yes. In the kitchen, when you turn on the water, it goes into the sink. It's
Mhm.
that big area where you wash the dishes.
Mhm.
That's the sink. So you turn the tap, and the water comes out the faucet and
Post.
into the thing you turn, hot and cold. Those are the taps, T-A-P.
Uh-huh.
And then the water comes out of the faucet, F-A-U-C-E-T, faucet,
Uh-huh.
and it goes into the sink.
Okay.
Okay, good. So yeah, you pack everything except the kitchen sink. They don't tear it out and put it in the bag. It's just a stupid thing people say to make a joke about how much someone packed. If you go to Anatolia for a week and you have 4 bags, this is too much. Why do you need all these things for such a short time? So you say this. Okay. Metin, can you read next?
Okay. Well, yeah. So in the college, then it was pretty much just seafood that I was eating. And by the time I graduated from college, I was dating a guy and actually living with him then. And he decided to become a vegetarian and wanted me to become one as well. And even though I'd been thinking of becoming one, I didn't want. I wanted to be my own decision. I didn't want to feel pressure from him. So he did pretty much all the cooking, and I told him, look, you know, it's fine that I'm not gonna ask you to cook meat, but I am not giving up seafood. So if you know, if we go out to eat, or if I am out eating at a restaurant and I choose to have seafood, I will.
Okay. This was a lot of words, but not too difficult, I think.
Mhm.
College, I think I mentioned this before.
Mhm.
College is post-secondary, after high school.
Mhm.
So you're 18 years or more at college. It's like university.
Mhm.
Just because in Turkey, I think it's different.
Yes.
College.
Vocational school?
Uh,
College?
college is, honestly, it's kind of like a bad university. If it's not good
You are
enough,
a student in the college for 4 years or 2 years?
I think it's 4.
Okay. 4
They're
years,
in,
bad university.
yeah, like a bad university.
Yes.
They're in the States. They're not so common in Canada, so I don't know too much about that.
Okay.
Okay. Graduated from is... What is graduated from, Metin?
Graduated from, okay, let's see. In while attending a educational
Institution.
institution, okay. After you finished all your courses and you take your diploma, and then this process is graduation.
Perfect, yeah. Good. And right at the end of the page, she says, I didn't want to feel pressure from him. What does that mean? Feel pressure from someone?
To feel pressure from someone, being affected by someone. If somebody's ideas or actions is affected by others, so he or she feels pressure from that person.
Good. Yeah. And what is barometric pressure?
But can you repeat?
Barometric pressure.
Barometric pressure is a physical term. How to say? The pressure, air pressure on the altitude that you have.
Perfect. Yes. Good. So pressure just means how hard something is pushing.
Pushing, yes.
Like the air is pushing down on you. Yeah. Great. I'm not giving up seafood. All right. I think the rest of this is not too bad. I mean, Kristen says he did pretty much all of the cooking. And this is maybe a bit strange because she means he always cooks. It's just a progressive term, but it actually has a simple verb meaning. Always cooking. Yeah.
Always.
Okay. So I think the rest of this is fine. Are there any questions from here?
No.
No. Okay.
Graduated, to be graduated from or graduate from? To be graduated, I was graduated from?
No, I graduated
graduate.
from. I graduated from, or I have graduated from. It's often in the perfect tense, but just I graduated from.
Okay.
No to be on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna stop here for today. We'll finish the last page tomorrow. And I'm sorry, Sinan, we went a bit over, but I'll give you a story tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Great. All right, are there any more questions from the story?
No. Thank you, Jory.
No.
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Good
Have a
night,
nice-
everyone.
Good night, guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye bye.